The former financial director of Bet Victor will go to prison for 2 years after having pleaded guilty to fraud and theft totalling just under £90,000 from the company owned by Victor Chandler International. 55-year-old Christopher Paul Forster was sentenced this week at the Supreme Court.
Christopher Forster was charged in April this year and subsequently pleaded guilty to the theft of over £27,000 and €30,000, as well as fraud by false representation of £36,000. The arrest by the Royal Gibraltar Police came about after an in-house investigation at Bet Victor showed the former financial director had been using his credit card expense account to make personal purchases, including hotel bookings, flights and house decoration. Money was also taken from petty cash, with the €30,000 coming from the staff payroll. In addition, Christopher Forster also entered into a loan agreement for a Cadillac sports car on behalf of a company owned by Victor Chandler International, although in mitigation, his lawyer Christian Roca argued that he was up to date with repayments when arrested. Mr. Roca said his client was of previously good character and would now be paying the price for his actions pretty much forever, adding Forster had signed a repayment agreement with Bet Victor and would be forfeiting his pension, approximately £15,000 to £20,000. Mr. Roca also said his client's crime was not a systematic or carefully concocted hidden scheme. However, the Chief Justice, Anthony Dudley, said the theft and fraud, which took place over around 14 months, cannot have been opportunistic and had to have involved some planning, also commenting that, on a salary of £100,000, it wasn't as if Forster was on the breadline. Presented with what he called a glowing reference for Forster, signed by Bet Victor's Human Resources Director, the Chief Justice said this was bizarre. However, he took into account the defendant's early guilty plea and personal mitigation. The Chief Justice sentenced Christopher Forster to 2 years imprisonment for the theft and 6 months for the fraud, to run concurrently, meaning that Christopher Forster will now serve a total of 2 years in prison.
The Public Services Ombudsman has been praised by the UK-based Ombudsman Association for its close contact with the community. The local ombudsman and his team were in Main Street this week handing out copies of their annual report and trying to speak to as many people as possible about their work.
It was a busy morning on Main Street, a good opportunity to speak to the public. Carol Neal was visiting the Rock in her capacity as chair of the Ombudsman Association's First Contact interest group.
It sets out to share learning across Ombudsman's offices on first contact and how we deliver services, make our services accessible to members of the public who use Ombudsman services.
The whole object of us being here is to meet the public in a different way that we do in our office.
What sort of feedback have you been getting today?
Well, up to now, it's been good. It's been a positive thing. Honestly, I cannot say otherwise.
The local office here in Gibraltar is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's very unique in that it's a local office for local people. Based here right in the centre of Gibraltar, people can pop into the office and meet with a member of staff. And that's what happens. People pop in and they manage to resolve complaints and concerns over the desk. Which is, quite unique because it is a local office, so it's a really great service.
What we do is we manage people's expectation. We tell them what the service provider can and cannot do, and it is within that scope, right, that we investigate whatever grievance is brought to us.
And it's great to be here today. This is First Contact in its closest form, launching the annual report and actually handing out the report and speaking to people about the services of the Ombudsman that might not have known.
And very, very importantly, we explain that wherever there is a right and we do have rights, there's also corresponding responsibility.
Many other ombudsman's offices may cover, the whole of the UK, so they provide an accessible service on the telephone. For instance, our office in Scotland, we have a free phone telephone number that people can access us on, but most people tend to drop into the Gibraltar Ombudsman's office, and there's a great team there to welcome them and help them with their complaints.
Again, if we look at the report that you're giving out today, we see that housing tops the list of complaints. Can you tell us why you think that is?
Well, I believe, I am of the firm opinion that housing is the biggest social problem that we have here in Germany. And it is obvious, it's because of size. Housing, there has never been enough offer to meet the demand. Housing, we are subject to waiting lists, and that is where the main complaints come from. Everybody wants to make sure that they go up in the waiting list. Our answer to that is we will ensure that you are where you have to be. You are not higher or lower, and that is what we look at. Having said that, I have to emphasize that complaints about housing have, since the day that we opened, have topped the list. But this is not an indictment on the housing department at all. It's just the environment in which we are and we operate, and there's more demand than offer.
How does this year compare to other years?
Well, I think that there has been a marked improvement, to be honest. In this annual report, you will find that there's only one investigation about housing. We have managed to balance it with others.
The Ombudsman's report is available online. The service provided by his office is free.
The customer is the most important person within the office, so we are here to provide a service, and it is free. Thank you.
The Gibraltar national football squad is excited about the prospect of playing the World Cup champions in November. Germany won the World Cup last week, beating Argentina by 1-0 in extra time. They are placed in the same Euro qualifiers group as Gibraltar and will be facing them twice, at home and away. There was much jubilation in Rio last night when Germany secured a historic World Cup victory thanks to the goal-scoring efforts of Mario Götze at extra time. And there was much interest in Gibraltar too, whether in the pubs, bars, down at Casemate Square or at home and online. People had some sort of reaction to the win, whether they supported Argentina or Germany. The majority, though, happy for the Germans. And that happiness soon turned to excitement at the sudden realization that Gibraltar will be coming face-to-face on the pitch, home and away in the coming months with the now world champions Germany. The Gibraltar national squad has shown great skill in their matches since becoming members of UEFA and have had good outings recently, particularly when they beat Malta this year. Facing Germany will undoubtedly be another challenge our boys will relish, and national coach Alan Buller is ready.
Obviously, it's a great feeling just knowing that we are going to be playing against the current world champion. I did say from the beginning, I think after the last match against Malta, the German TV RTL asked me what was I looking forward to when we played Germany, and I said, play the world champion. And he said, no, seriously. I said, yeah, seriously. That's what I think most of Gibraltar's been looking forward to. Because it's not every day that little Gibraltar by size will play against a world champion. So that's what we've got coming up against in November. But it's going to be, we've seen what Germany can do. We've seen how difficult they can be and the power they have. But we're just going to start working towards that game, and let's see how it goes there.
Gibraltar national squad team captain Roy Cipollina says their match against Germany in November will be the toughest of their careers yet, and that they will attempt to prepare the best they can for that match. in what has been a surreal journey for a team who only last year became members of UEFA and are now dealing with the prospect of facing the world champions.
Well, to be honest, it's just surreal. I mean, it's been surreal since the first day we got into UEFA. A dream which is just getting better and better. I mean, who would have thought in the last 15 months we've gone from getting into UEFA, getting a draw in our first ever game, and most recently getting our first win. Obviously now we're going into the qualifiers, which are going to be a lot tougher, a lot stronger position, and it's going to be a long road ahead.
Gibraltar will face Germany on the 14th of November in Bremen, and it will no doubt be one not to miss. Chief Minister Fabian Picardo summed it up in this tweet last night. Last weekend's first official Pride event in Gibraltar saw a good turnout with a cross-section of the community represented at the two-day festival. The event is an equality rights group initiative supported by the government.
Stand-up comedy, live music and a street parade leading to casemates formed part of the first official Pride in Gibraltar. The festival's ethos was diversity and equality, and the weekend's events focused on togetherness, celebrating Gibraltar's older generations, physically and mentally challenged citizens, ethnic groups, Gibraltar's LGBT communities and different faiths. The Equality Rights Group organised the festival, which kick-started the Summer Nights programme. The group's slogan is "We Are One." Highly acclaimed TV personality, comedian, author and disability rights activist Francesca Martinez opened Pride on Friday night with her comedy show. Saturday then saw a street parade from Piazza to Casemates, which saw Miss Gibraltar and members from the Equality Rights Group lead the way, with various different other local authorities and organisations also taking part. Once in Casemates, the opening night of Gibraltar's Summer Nights programme was dedicated to Pride 2014, with entertainment including dance, live music, singing and performances that reflected the diversity on the rock. An after-party then took place in Ocean Village, organised by Omi Events. The ERG has described the celebrations as heartening, colourful, enjoyable and energising. The group hopes that Pride will continue to form an important element for the community on an ongoing annual basis.
Also this week, arrangements for National Week and the Gibraltar Fair were announced. 27 local athletes prepared for the Commonwealth Games, and the RGP's Operation Roadwatch for the summer got underway. For the rest of this week's news, you can head over to our website, gbc.gi/news, and don't forget to tune into Radio Gibraltar and GBC Television throughout the week for the very latest local news. You can also follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Thank you very much for watching. From the team, it's good night.